Nearly 1,000 construction workers are about to lose their jobs. If the funding freeze continues, that number climbs to 11,000. The project, a new rail tunnel under the Hudson River, one of the busiest passenger rail corridors in the country. The problem, $12 billion in federal funding has been frozen since October. On February 6th, the money runs out. Here's what you need to know. Every Amtrak and NJ Transit train traveling between New Jersey and Manhattan passes through the same tunnel under the Hudson River. There is no alternative route, no backup. One crossing handles all of it. That tunnel connects to the Northeast Corridor, the busiest passenger rail line in the United States. More than 2,200 train movements and 800,000 passenger trips flow through this corridor every day. If something fails in that single Hudson River crossing, there's nowhere else to go. The entire system chokes. That's the problem the Hudson Tunnel Project is trying to solve. The plan? Build a new two-track tunnel between New Jersey and Newark Penn Station, a parallel route, actual redundancy for a system that currently has none. The price tag? $16 billion. Multiple sources have called it the most important infrastructure project in the nation. But the urgency isn't just about adding capacity. It's about what's happening to the only tunnel that exists right now. The tunnel currently in use was built in 1910. That makes it 116 years old. It carries over 200,000 passenger trips every weekday, somewhere between 425 and 450 trains daily, depending on the source. It's one of the most heavily used rail tunnels in the country. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy flooded the tunnel with saltwater. Saltwater is corrosive. It damages concrete and electrical systems. That damage has never been fully repaired. The reason is straightforward. There's no way to shut the tunnel down for major work. It's the only rail crossing under the Hudson. Closing it means stopping all train service between New Jersey and Manhattan. So the tunnel operates on constant maintenance. Smaller fixes that keep things running but don't address the deeper problems left by the flooding. This is the core logic behind the new tunnel project. A second crossing would allow the old tunnel to be taken offline for full rehabilitation. Without it, comprehensive repairs aren't possible. That project is now $16 billion in, and it's about to stop. Here's how the Hudson Tunnel Project is funded. The total budget is $16 billion. Roughly 70% of that, about $12 billion, comes from federal grants. The rest comes from state and local sources. Federal funding is the majority of this project, and since October, that federal money has stopped flowing. The disbursements that were supposed to continue have been paused. No new federal dollars have reached the project since then. But construction didn't stop in October. The Gateway Development Commission, the body overseeing the project, kept work going. How? By tabbing a $500 million line of credit. For months, the project has been paying contractors out of that credit line, waiting for federal funds to resume. That line of credit is now nearly exhausted. The commission put it plainly, we cannot fund this work on credit indefinitely. They've stretched the available money as far as it can go. Without a restart of federal disbursements, there's nothing left to pay contractors with, which brings us to the deadline. February 6th, 2026. That's the date. If federal funding disbursements don't resume before then, construction on the Hudson Tunnel Project stops. Not a slowdown, a full stop. The Gateway Development Commission announced this deadline on January 27th. Their statement was direct. Funding for construction will run out on February 6th. After that date, contractors begin winding down work. Sources differ slightly on the timeline. One says the wind down takes about 2 weeks, another says 10 days. Either way, active construction ceases, and the project enters a holding pattern until money becomes available again. No new contracts can be awarded. No new work can begin. Crews go home. The commission made clear this isn't a negotiating tactic, it's a financial reality. The credit line is tapped out. The federal dollars haven't arrived. There's simply nothing left to pay workers with. Pausing construction is the absolute last resort, one statement read. They held out as long as they could. February 6th is where the math runs out. So what does that pause actually cost? The immediate cost is jobs. If construction pauses on February 6th, nearly 1,000 workers lose their jobs right away. These are the crews actively working on the tunnel project, the people who will be sent home when the money stops. But that's just the first wave. If the funding freeze continues beyond the initial pause, the impact grows. Multiple sources put the larger number at approximately 11,000 construction jobs at risk. That includes not just direct tunnel workers, but the broader network of jobs that support a project of this scale. There's also the question of delay costs. Infrastructure projects don't pause cleanly. Equipment sits idle, contracts expire, supply chains trains move on. The longer a stoppage lasts, the more expensive it becomes to restart, and the further the completion date gets pushed back. This isn't a new project. A previous version of this tunnel plan was canceled back in 2010 by then New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, citing concerns about cost overruns. That decision set the effort back years. The project is already underway, contractors are already hired, and in a matter of days, they may have nothing to do. The question is, why did the funding stop?
The U.S. Department of Transportation has cited a review process as the reason for the funding pause. According to multiple sources, federal disbursements were halted pending a review of the Gateway Development Commission's contracts. Specifically, the review involves the project's Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, a federally mandated policy that governs how contracts are awarded to certain businesses. That review began around October of last year. Sources differ slightly on the exact date. One says October 1st, another says October 15th. Either way, federal funds stopped flowing that month and have not resumed since. The DOT has not announced when the review will conclude or when disbursements might restart. Beyond the official review explanation, there have been public statements from various parties characterizing the situation differently. The White House has pointed to congressional disagreements. Others have pointed to the administration's decision to halt funds. This script isn't going to sort out who's responsible. What the sources agree on is the basic situation. Federal money was committed. That money stopped flowing in October, and without its return, construction cannot continue past February 6th. The project remains in limbo.
Here's where things stand. A $16 billion tunnel project, one that multiple sources call the most important infrastructure effort in the country, is days away from stopping. The federal funding that makes up 70% of its budget has been frozen for months. The credit line that kept construction going is nearly gone. On February 6th, work halts. Nearly 1,000 jobs disappear immediately. Thousands more hang in the balance. Meanwhile, the only existing tunnel under the Hudson River, built in 1910, damaged by Hurricane Sandy, carrying hundreds of thousands of passengers daily, still can't be fully repaired because there's still no backup.